Good afternoon, beautiful people. This is the DMV Poet, and I want to welcome everybody to another installment of Streams of Consciousness. We actually need to give you all an apology. Last week we had Majestic and Concept from Heir to the Throne on the show, and we had a little bit of a technical difficulty, and the episode is a little spotty, it's a little bad quality, so I really want to extend an extreme apology to everybody, especially to Majestic and Concept. Those are two incredible young men. We're actually working with them now to do some future opportunities live, and as well as collaborating and doing a backup episode, just any information that anybody couldn't get from the first interview. We want to dig in a little bit deeper, maybe offer some new music and maybe do another cipher for anybody that missed it. It was a great show though. We discussed Harry Belafonte versus Sean Carter, which is phenomenal. Anybody, if you have a few minutes, just go to the episode. It should be still on the Mass Over Radio speaker site on Facebook. You'll be able to listen to it whatever you can. Again, I apologize. Today is going to be a regular Streams of Conscious day. We actually don't have any guests today. It's just going to be me, the DMV Poet, and I'm going to be sharing a couple of pieces with you guys from some of my archive of 2003 and 2004, and we're also going to listen to some F Poetry Jam poets together and enjoy some enlightening material. I wanted to start this show off today. I want to talk about some things that's been really, really booming in social media right now. I watch Twitter timelines. I tend to watch the Facebook timelines a lot. I have key people that I tend to watch just to, know about current events that's going on in social media and it's going on and in our country. And one thing that kind of caught my eye, outside of, because, we didn't really broadcast last week, Don Lemon's rant on Fox News. I think I had a little bit of a different reaction from everybody else. I'm starting to think I'm a little less sensitive to racial issues than I thought. For those of you that don't know, Don Lemon is an African-American broadcaster for Fox News. He's kind of like the only African-American that's on Fox News. But it's aside from, Michael Steele and, all those guys. But he did I want to say it was a rant. It was just kind of like a little outburst. He was defending Bill O'Reilly, who did this show it was called Talking Points, and he was discussing what the African-American community needs to do to fix whatever issues we have. Don Lemon supported most of what Bill O'Reilly said, stop sagging, get an education, pick yourselves up, do something for yourselves, the same Fox News right-wing Republican rhetoric that we tend to get. And, Don Lemon chimed in and he said, we need to stop littering in our communities. We need to stop sagging our pants. We need to get education, stop complaining, do for ourselves, because, African Americans like him did for himself. And when I see all this going on, I also think about Sharon Osbourne's comments concerning Justin Bieber last week. She was discussing his outrageous behavior, and she basically said that he thinks he's black, and she thinks that he just needs to remember that he's a little white boy. And she was kind of referencing his bad behavior as acting black. And I think about when Don Lemon and Bill O'Reilly were making a lot of statements about the African-American community, and everything they were saying was just so negative. Littering, they litter. Blacks litter, blacks curse, blacks play loud music, blacks sag, blacks don't go to school, they're on public assistance. They're making all these crazy comments and these allegations against African Americans. And as African American, I know I don't throw up in buckets outside of clubs like Justin Bieber did. I don't do that. So I'm not sure why that associates to the African American. Same thing with Don Lemon, Bill O'Reilly. I'm not sure why they associate these things. I see people on the street of all ethnicities that sag. I thought it was a demographic, an age demographic. I'm 28 for those that don't know, and I don't sag. I wear belts. I don't know. But I want to do a piece that I actually performed at the Speakeasy last month. It kind of rings in my ears a lot of times whenever I perform it. And I think I may have done it on the show. For those that may have heard, I do apologize for the redundancy. But, it just kind of speaks to what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be digging into self-realization. we're going to be digging into, who we are as individuals and how we can grow as people, and, my own different obstacles that I've gotten over and things that I've written about, situations I've been through that have helped me grow into who I am. So this piece is actually called They See Me. They see me, but they don't really see me. They look me in the eye and describe what a nigga be. They memorize my medium brown complexion, my slim build, my baggy jeans. So if a crime gets committed, they'll be able to finger me. I got a job interview, but no opportunities in this life. Being colored, there are no guarantees. In this life, being my color, there are no guarantees. I go to school with my teachers are too intimidated to teach, but bet I walk down the street, the police will put holes in me. But I cruise down the street in a black coupe with a glass roof, it'll be a black officer to racially profile me. So with all this on my mind, I get high on a daily with a Dutch master of knowledge. I'm rolling blunts with these facts they refuse to teach in college. That's weed with no seeds, with milestones in history, things that are untaught, unheard, and was virtually unseen. Like in 1863, it was a man of God that taught I was a beast. That Jesus Christ brought me into his world to make his life really easy. That I was placed in those fields on a daily just to rot, and for 500 years, this is what African Americans was taught. I was raped in my heritage. I don't know who I'm supposed to be, so I work hard and I hustle hard, all for a country that whores me. So as I walk down the street, they see me, but they don't really see me. They look me in the eye and describe what a nigga be. They memorize my medium brown complexion, my slim build, my baggy jeans. So if a crime just so happens to be committed, they'll be able to finger me. And that was See Me. And it's actually going to be a recorded track on the upcoming project of mine called Heart, Mind, and Gemini. And I think what that whole piece was built around, not about being African American. I mean, I know that's what I kind of reference because that's the perspective that I'm writing from. But all in all, I think it's more about stereotypes. It's more about first impressions. It's more about how there are certain things we're never going to be able to escape. Like, as a black man, from my perspective, what I'll never be able to really escape is the history, my ancestry. I'll never be able to escape slavery. And it's written on my face whenever people see me for the first time. I'm a black man in the United States of America. And even when you're not considered, or you're not characterized, or you don't consider yourself African American or black, there is a certain stigma around your complexion. And that's just a reality. And I think that's something that we all kind of run away from. And that's including Don Lemon and Bill O'Reilly. we run away from the fact that the reality of the situation is, as a black man, I know that when I walk into a room, everybody's going to see a black man. As a Hispanic man, or as an Asian man, or any other ethnicity or minority, if you walk into a room, the whole room will know you are a minority. And even furthermore, when you break down the color lines, it's like there are more things that separate African Americans from each other than there are that's going to bring us together. I mean, there's light skin, brown skin, dark skin. There's African American, first generation immigrant. Like, there's mixed, there's biracial. There's so many different characteristics we can kind of put ourselves in. But at the end of the day, we're all put in the same category to the public eye. Now, that's just my opinion. I'm not sure how many people agree, but that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to share. And I've always, you can get at me at DMV Poet on Twitter, Alexander R. Butler on Facebook, or DMV Poet. You can find me. I love conversation. Like, close friend of mine, Caretha Gill. She's actually, I believe she's in the Turks and Caicos, and she inspires a lot of political, social controversies that I talk about. Like, she kind of brings stuff to my front door. We have the conversation, and it just kind of blows up into this big topic, and it's like, okay, I want to bring this to my listeners, and we don't agree, like, ever. But at the end of the day, she brought me the Harry Belafonte Jay-Z controversy, which I didn't really pay a lot of attention to when it first hit. But moving on a little bit, this whole show, people ask me all the time, is this show about racial issues? Is it about uplifting the black community? And it's not. It's about uplifting the individual. And I do that from the perspective of an African American man, so which is the only perspective I know. But it's just using my journeys and my writing to give people a different idea. Those people like Anna Temple Abram, you can find her on Facebook, amazing poet. They remember when I was younger, and you know, for everybody out there, sex used to be a big part of my creativity. It wasn't necessarily about describing it or anything like that. It was just more about, that tends to be what I was driven towards to write about. Now I tend to go more towards community and education, history, which is another thing we're going to talk about today. We're going to discuss a little bit of Langston Hughes. Yeah, that's going to be a whole different story. But I have this piece. It's actually not about sex. We're going to get to something about that later. But this piece is actually called This Evil Place. I was actually working in a restaurant as a waiter and a bartender. And I kind of wrote this out on a receipt. It's this evil place. I walked in here with a fake facade we call a smile in this evil place. So nobody truly knows I could flick off at any time. I could completely lose control at the drop of a dime. I could easily grab a knife and slit the throats of anyone who gets into my own personal box. At the end of the day, anything could happen. I'm not a violent person. It's this evil place that turns me into a factory drone, where people, family, customers don't know how to talk to me in a proper tone. Even try to say I can't use my cell phone in this evil, evil place. Don't get me wrong. This evil place can be anywhere. The mall, mainly houses, work, and home, where those I don't trust assume some type of control over me and what I do, my personal actions. And it is this that causes such a bad reaction. It is this evil, evil place. And, you know, I work full time, and I love my job. I love my boss. I love my coworkers. Everything is like just so amazing whenever I go to work. And, you know, I know I'm lucky to have a job that I can sustain myself and I enjoy. But back then, it was horrible. Like, I don't think I'll ever go back to the hospitality industry, you know, just because it's like you're forced to be a person that you're not. Like, you're almost forced to be like everybody else. And that's the only way you're really going to make money, is by smiling, is by being funny, talking about, you know, where you're from, and, you know, sharing with complete strangers. I mean, actually, you know, a little quiet as it's kept, I used to actually make up these crazy stories about myself whenever I was waiting tables or bartending. Like, if it was, especially when I was working in a hotel, it was like whenever somebody would come in from out of town, it would be like, oh, I'm from Nebraska. I'm, you know, going to school at, you know, such and such. I'm just here for the summer. You know, I'm just trying to, most of the time I was just trying to ease a bigger tip or a little bit of empathy as a server for my customers. But that was always like, it was fun, but it's not something I could do now ever again. But, you know, writing is everything. But I think actually we're going to be ready for a short break. I have a piece for you guys. I think I've played a couple of his pieces in the past. His name is Shehan the Prototype. He's actually one of the original deaf poets from Def Poetry Jam on HBO, and he traveled in the Broadway show, and he's a huge inspiration. And he actually has an album that's out now, Deciphering Gibberish. You can Google it, or you can find it on Amazon, iTunes. Amazing artist. But we're going to cue him up and enjoy. I'll be right back.
My man, Shehan.
If there's ever a time you can't find me, don't worry. I'm doing all right. I'm probably hiding out somewhere counting my blessings, mumbling something about sunshine, wondering how much love I could live in a lifetime. See, I found my reason to live again, my daughter. And she has me conversing with Father Time, trying to convince him to allow me the ability to witness my future history. I'll grow my legacy, and I think it's working. See, he led me to her, my wife. And she is my fountain of youth, and I've drunk her to the point that I've been reborn, and I've seen the light. See, in the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was with God, and that Word was her. And God took one of her ribs to create me. Now her one rib left was left with a shape, and I left shape left. Now 1 plus 1 equals 1. Our bond cannot be broken. We consummated our commitment to each other and created our first child. Now 1 plus 1 equals 3. And And I know the math sounds strange, and sometimes I find myself struggling with divinity, but why try? Mother, Father, Child is the Holy Trinity, and she is living proof that there is truth in fertility, and we live a love that God would envy, and for her, I would carry the cross of my own crucifixion if it would make her have more faith in me. And I could hang from that cross, and you could pierce my side with the spear, and I would just bleed more reasons to love her. And I could die in that cross, and you could bury me in a tomb, and I would rise on the 23rd hour just to prove that I cannot live a day without her. And I would go toe with the eternity for the rights to her next lifetime, because I was the only one made for her. And some may question the love that we share, but it only makes me question their faith. So I ask you, what else do I have to prove?
Yes, that was Shihan. You know, he was talking about love. You know, I mean, anybody that's heard one of my shows, one of Streams of Consciousness, you know I love love. Love is a beautiful thing. And I think the energy that I used to put into shocking people in my poetry and put into sex and different descriptors and trying to be creative and telling different crazy stories, I think a lot more energy nowadays goes into love. And it's, you know, love for myself, love for other people, love for relationships, love for family. I'm going to do a short piece. It's currently untitled. It's actually going to be a part of something else that I'm working on currently right now. Also, I just also want to give a special plug to my little brother in music and crime, my partner, Dimitri Davis. You can actually get at him on Facebook, Dimitri Davis, or Twitter, Right Mind Control, Instagram. And he's a great guy. And, you know, we're actually continuously working on new material, new music. He actually performs on Rebirth of Isis at the intro of my show. And anybody that was at Speakeasy on the 26th of July, he performed with me, Inadequacy. And, you know, we just have like some amazing material put together. And I also want to let everybody in the DMV know that maybe listening, we're putting together with Massive Entertainment, Reform Society, DMV Network. You know, we're all kind of in conversations to bring you guys something very special, very live, very upscale, very uplifting to spoken word and uplifting to the artists. And we're in conversation with some amazing artists, some amazing bands that are going to support the venue. I mean, it's going to be a really big thing. Well, let me get to this piece. All right. Inhaling your innocence, stealing more with each breath. The sin of your body, the vessel of perfection in itself. Every line on your arm, every freckle on your back. The twinkle in your eyes, the intelligence intact. How is it that our love is the fact that remains unchanged in a world known for just that? A bond of loyalty exists between us, guaranteeing forgiveness and friendship that seems to have proven nothing less than relentless. Our love is worth more than any amount of words could write. Yet it would always be worth it to look back, try, so I can read and remember, even when you're gone. And, you know, I always... You know, Shihan, his first poem that I heard was Love Like, and it actually inspired a lot of different emotions in me, a lot of different writing styles. You know, I've been able to follow his journey, and it's helped me evolve as a writer and as a poet and creatively. And, you know, just from conversations I've been able to have with him and things I've been able to share and he's been able to share with me. It's been an incredible journey, and I've grown phenomenally as a poet. This next piece I'm going to give you all, as you see, there's going to be a lot of it's poetry, spoken word on Streams of Consciousness. And it's really going to be, what I want to do is I want to read a couple of pieces for you guys and hopefully get some type of response. You can either comment on the Spreaker site when you listen to it off the main link, or you can comment in the Massive Entertainment Facebook group, or you can find me on Facebook, add me as a friend, and we can talk. Like, it doesn't really matter. You know, this is all about being interactive. Because I think the whole point of me doing this is to spread my message and my word as far as possible. And this Streams of Consciousness and Mass Off Radio is really giving me the opportunity to do that. This is it's actually called Two Puffs. It's actually in production. It's something that I'm working with a couple of different producers on. And it actually has a very interesting hook, but we're not going to hear that today. But it's like, I walk into the room, pick up the glass of brown liquor beautifully intertwined in the ramble filled to the top with my ice-cold buzz. Silence deafening amongst a small room of 4 with little ventilation. I contemplate my life. I pick up the pen and pad, and this is what I write. As I rewrite my life, I realize through my brown eyes that I was never truly satisfied. My happiness was never optimized, and I never really saw the world through my sacred, God-given sight. A sight minus what someone did in the past, how the love I thought of my life would end so fast along with my happiness in the world. As I write, I feel this light air breeze across my skin, and by this time my eyes are closed tight, and I can continue to contemplate my life. I write and write and write and vividly describe the weight on my shoulders from disappointments as a child. Fast forward to 16 when me and Bird was running wild, actualize the beauty and ugliness of my individual self. That perfect is a thing that I'll never truly get to myself. As I open my mouth and my words flow out, close your eyes and see the image of what my work is all about. I refuse to compromise and will never be victimized by expectations of the minds that reside behind their eyes. Working 9 to 5s, it barely keeps me alive, and I keep my hustle game strong to ensure my family survives. Still in bondage, never free. We move to mental slavery. Our resolution is no type of solution. How can we break the chains of depravity with the crab barrels as our gravity? To be happy for my brother is something that's rarely seen. My biggest obstacles will never be me. If it comes to someone to blame, it's a nigga's nature to point to the first person it's seen. They said my birth was a miracle. Pops didn't want kids, but mama had me though. But 2 boys in the struggle and couldn't save me though. They never knew me, so I set out on the world seeking diamonds and pearls. Traveled across seas till my passport was full. Living with random people, ramen noodles was tools, a little spaghetti sauce, and we have a meal so good. Eyes completely red from me missing home. No tears ever fell because I had to be alone. I had to prove myself that I was worth this fight. I had to fall on my face so I could learn how to fight. I wish my life was a melody. Beautiful notes played so softly. Magnificent sounds in the morning and the peaceful silence as night emerges. An 808 at the break of dawn, guiding the rhythm as my feet one by one slowly touch the ground. And the dreams of harmonies in the air so clear, falsettos in my ears help me fight back my tears. What if reality played for me, providing gorgeous symphonies so lovely that I don't worry about no enemies or society? The chains break away and I can live my life freely, ignore the cash flow, and write my life down clearly. I think that piece kind of goes in a big tailspin. It kind of opens up with me talking about the brown liquor beautifully intertwined in the Rambler filled to the top with my ice cold buzz. I know me as an individual, I can admit that I have a weakness, and my weakness tends to be alcohol. You know, I can drink and completely and totally escape the reality of today. And I can have an amazing time, and I can wake up in the morning and feel completely and totally sick and unregretful of the night before. And I wanted to use that feeling in this piece. I really wanted to use that as like, I'm not at a party. I don't want that to be the ambiance. I really wanted the ambiance to just kind of be like, you know, just walking into a friend's house with a couple of people and, you know, you're all drinking and, you know, just sitting around talking. And that moment when you start thinking about everything that's going on and all the thoughts are running through your head. You know, who you are as a person, who you are as a man, as a woman, as a child, or as a son, as a father, as a brother. You know, your failures and your accomplishments. And that moment when you're surrounded by, you know, not strangers, but you're surrounded by people, but you're completely alone. You're spaced out. And you're just thinking about your life. You're thinking about being a man. You're thinking about responsibilities. And that's really what I wanted this piece to reflect. Just that relaxing period. And then it just kind of grows into who I feel like I am as a man. Just a little bit of background history. I know I just did, I said a couple of interesting lines about my background, my past, my family. My parents have been together for 30 plus years. I have an older brother who's very, very instrumental in my progression as an artist, as a spoken word artist with the online radio show, with my social media presence. He's incredibly supportive, and he always brings in very interesting perspectives and ways of doing things. But we grew up all around the country. My father was in the Air Force, and I always feel like there's a little bit of a separation between me and my father that others may not have, that whose parents were like together, you know, in a two-parent home. Just because he was traveling all the time. He did take us with him a lot, But he traveled constantly, so he was away all the time. And there was like this ongoing kind of a joke, kind of dark satire amongst my family that my father never wanted children, and that he would come home from a tour and his wife would be pregnant. So, and it was just like, oh, I was tricked and all this other stuff. I mean, as an adult, it doesn't really bother me, but as a child, I kind of thought all the time that, I was a burden on my father as a child, that he never wanted. And I think that kind of shaped me as a man. It kind of helped me not depend on other people to solve my problems. I feel like I've always had a strong support system at home, but it's never been a situation where I just call my mom and she paid something, or I just call my dad and he bailed me out of jail. I never really had that safety net. It was just, you get into some trouble, you deal with it yourself. And I think that kind of helped me be a stronger man in terms of everything. I have another track I'm going to play for you guys, and it's actually by Jill Scott. It's from a deaf poetry performance she did. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that the performance was in 2007, and she performed it on the show on HBO, and it always rings true, and I always loved it. So enjoy. I'll be right back. That was Jill Scott. I gotta say, anybody that tells me that woman is not immensely talented, just a beautifully grounded black woman, a mother, a lover, a writer, a performer, entertainer, actress. In that piece, one of the things that she said in that piece that always blows my chest wide open is our ancestors, walked miles and miles in the dark. It just speaks to the resilience of the African American people. And, I always it's not all about being black. I don't necessarily feel like being an African American gives me an advantage over anybody else in any type of genre in hip hop, in spoken word, in corporate America. But one thing it does do is it just kind of shows that we're all individually special in our own right. We were all created in the image of something that we all are connected to, no matter what we look like. So it's like, taking pride in who you are and where you're from, not being ashamed of your history and your past, whether it's from a third world country or whether, you have ancestry of slaves. It's all the same thing. We're all in the same struggle together. black man, white woman, Hispanic man. I'm going to dig into some of my own struggles. I think as an artist, we're all boastful. We tend to like to brag. We tend to like to say we're better than others. And there's always this underlying insecurity. And, I may be one of the only people willing to admit it, but there's always this underlying insecurity of something people may not know about me. Something that may have happened that I don't want the world to know, something that somebody may be able to expose me about. And as an artist, I've always used those things to, use those things to explain who I am. I use my flaws, my insecurities, my fears to define who I am because I'm overcoming them every day. When I was 18, 19 years old, I was nervous and scared to perform at the Mocha Hut with Droopy the Broke Baller. I was scared to walk up there and ask to put my name on the list. Now, 10 years later, I walk in anywhere and I really don't care. I think I said something the other day. I said, I think people would actually be shocked if they knew how little I cared about things. But I'm going to do this piece. It's unfinished. I don't know where it's going to go. Anybody has any ideas, let me know. As I look in the mirror, in my eyes, what do I see? Flaws, pain, hurt, and some insecurities. I haven't been the best friend, maybe an even worse lover. An ungrateful son and a horrible fucking brother. I want to say that I'm smart but can't. I want to hide that I'm hurt so y'all don't see me there. The only thing that possibly lies behind reflective glass that shines is a hurt little boy uncomfortable in his own mind. Uneasy in my own skin, disconnected with who I am, so lost that even love as a light fades within. Working hard, 25, life outside, that's when my dreams died, but I'm fighting. I'm still trying. Way beyond my parents' farthest dreams for me. I'm more than an average dude. There's greatness set for me. I think I wrote that in a mindset of, who I am. And I wrote that a couple years ago, so it's more who I was at 22. But, we change and we grow so much. Just who I am, who I was that day was scared. And it wasn't really scared of anything happening, wasn't really scared of anything in particular, any person or any being. But I think I was just more so scared of what I was growing to become. It's a big thing, in my opinion, to actualize your own destiny and to set out on a path that isn't set in stone. And to set out in DC as a spoken word artist, I think was a big feat. It wasn't, I reached some levels of popularity when I was younger, but in my more recent years, I've been very more so, reclusive. I've been working on my recording. I've been putting together amazing projects like Strains of Consciousness, like these open mics that are going to be popping up around the city featuring the DMV Poet and, Rich Rocket and some different personalities around the city that I'm very excited about. Just when I wrote that, I could look at myself in the mirror and I could say, I have no idea what you're trying to do. I have no clue. At that point, I was in the studio like 4 or 5 days a week with Dimitri Davis. Shout out to him. Shout out to Lydell Reck, Lenny Knight, Alex and Sterling Green. They've all been just exponentially supportive of my dream. And I didn't know what the heck I was doing. We recorded amazing songs. We did a rendition of Turn Off the Lights for Melvin and the Blue Notes, Tony Brooks. It was actually, I'm traveling with them a couple of years ago. And we recorded our own rendition, kind of more of a updated rendition of Teddy Pendergrass's Turn Off the Lights, which was amazing. I'm pretty sure I'm going to play it on the show one day soon. But, possibly when Dimitri actually comes on for an interview. But we'll talk about that. Just Rebirth of Isis was recorded. To You, which actually, I think this is a good time to do that piece. See, as you lay there unconsciously, I am constantly reminded of how a blind man showed me love at first sight. I watch you from your head to your feet, from A to J, J to K, K to Z. I'm trying to see what causes this intense electricity as you sleep. Magnetism draws me closer to you as I'm yearning to see how soft your creamy skin is to the touch. Your body's exposed, but I'm in love with your artistic soul, which is so much more than how I can physically please you. We're two of a dying breed. We're African Americans who are truly free, not enslaved by rap lyrics, controversial scripts, or smack-in-the-face Oscars presented at 3-6. I can close my eyes and envision us in our purest form, sharing more than just thoughts, poetry, and art. But that is a road often traveled, and I know it will lead. Your beautiful form will change in my eyes. We'll eventually go a life together, separately. And that's a road often traveled, and I know it will lead. Even as your eyes are wide shut, you see past my dark brown eyes and my chocolate skin, and you appreciate who I am, which ceases to amaze me. You amaze me. You amaze me. Which is why I don't want this connection to ever come to an end. I don't want anything to come between us, not sex, cash, or even other men. Which is why I want you to always be my friend. And see, this is when my brother come in. This is when Demetri Davis would come in, and he would start with his this crazy like Luther Vandross, John Legend, like Raheem Devon with a little bit of, you know, I don't know, like I'm trying to think, just this rich, soulful voice, and it's like I don't know why I love you like I do. And it's like crazy. I mean, he sounds a lot better than that because this is me. But, you know, it's just crazy. And it's always like amazing. So, you know, just having those connections and those relationships with people, it's amazing. It's crazy. I can't even explain it. I'm going to share another piece, and then we're going to get into some recent hot topics. We're going to talk about Miss Lauryn Hill, who is actually currently in a federal minimum security penitentiary. But, you know, we'll talk about that. I'll give you guys some details, what's the more developing news of Miss Hill. But first, it's I Just Want to Talk. Listen, I don't want to echo historical wars that shines darkness on our past or dredge up the civil battles that seem to be preventing us to last. I just want to talk. I understand that from your seat I'm attacking you, calling names and dragging you, so defend lies is the most likely what you want to do, but I'm not. I just want to discuss minus cuss words why the things you set out to do hurt me so much. The passing out of numbers when the situation's mine, it's me, and privately talking to your friends about constant infidelities, not to mention deleting of applications that you think I don't see. New friends, new attention, new nigga you forget to mention, and you always seem to find the means to start fights that will immediately put distance between you and me. If you love me, then why do you talk to him? And if you're lying to me, then why should I think you're not telling the truth to them? If I'm everything you wanted, why are you breaking your neck to be in the streets? And according to text messages, it's a sexy Hispanic Chico that you seek. Pretty boy, light skin, looking similar to your ex, 5'4", brown eyes with a nair smooth test. So many things that I will never be. Naive, gullible, dumb. I left that back when I was 19. I think it's funny how you swear I don't see what I seen, heard what I heard, and now you swear you're getting over on me. I don't have intuition, but this delusional addiction of hearing your silly lies and exposing them to the light so that you can look in the mirror and finally see who you truly are in honest sight. See, I just want to talk. About what? About us. About reality. You know, I like that piece. You know, it's nothing. It's actually one of the most fictional pieces I have. I think I just kind of pulled a lot of different inspirations from stories that I've heard, and you know, just insecurities that I have about my own relationship and all that jazz. Because, you know, just to be honest with everybody, you know, I'm speaking real candidly today. I think this is probably the best portrait of the DMV poet y'all are probably gonna get. But as a man, I think that as a black man, I think that my complexion has dictated a lot of my own personal issues with myself growing up. I think I would have wanted to be lighter. I mean, my brother has more of a fair complexion. He has like straighter hair than me, and if you see pictures of me, I'm sure you will. I have dreads. I've always had really thick kinky hair, and my brother's always had thin, straight hair, and I always like just kind of, what if I was lighter? Or what if my hair was, like my brother's? What if I was something else? What if I was anything else? And it's always like, I hate light-skinned people. I think me and some, darker skinned friends, this is like an ongoing joke. I hate light-skinned people. They think they're better than us. They think they're this. And, I don't think I really think that. I think that society has taught me that I may not be good enough. I mean, I posed a question to all the listeners, and I would love for people to comment on Facebook and on Twitter. I would love to hear responses to this. But what do you guys think about the media and light skin versus dark skin? I have not seen a dark skinned woman rise to fame since Tina Turner. Like, I haven't. And I have friends that are in entertainment, like Nicole Ray. Shout out to Nicole Ray. That's one of the hardest working R&B singers I've seen of our generation. Like, I mean, she stays working. She stays, even if it's not even as relevant as fans like me would hope. Like, she's always out there. She went from Missy to Damon Dash to Rockefeller with Jay-Z to Lady overseas with Terry Walker. I mean, she stays working. Shout out to Nicole. I'm gonna post my picture when I went to New York and met with her a couple months ago. I went to her show with Terry Walker at Joe's Pub. I should post those pictures in the Facebook group. But what do you guys think of that? How many truly Afrocentric women rise to fame in today's culture, in today's media? I mean, I love Beyonce Knowles Carter as much as the next beat stand, but at the end of the day, she's the pop icon of our generation, and she has very strong European features. I mean, she's black. She's a black woman, but she's a fair-skinned black woman that wears blonde weave in her hair 89 to 90% of the time. I mean, what happened to Jaguar Wright? What happened to Angie Stone's fame? Where's Latasha Scott? What's wrong with Lil Mo? I know she ghetto and hood, but why can't she be, a vocal powerhouse? I mean, just pose yourselves that question. I'd love to hear responses. And, we might read some of them on the show next week. So anybody that's listening, any of my friends, Iris Perry, if you're listening, write it out. Rich Rocket, I'd love to hear what you think. Matt Rand at DMV Network. Let's talk about the media's perception of what a celebrity is and what beauty is, what beautiful is. Let's just talk about that and really dissect it. Because, as a dark-skinned man, I would hate to think, well, some people say I'm brown. I like to claim dark. But just that there's going to be a ceiling on how far I can go because of my complexion. I mean, in entertainment, in corporate media, in anything. I mean, I think that's just, I'd love to pose that question to everybody. But this is pretty much it for us. Okay, this is pretty much it for us today. I hope you guys enjoyed this candid episode of Streams of Consciousness with the DMV Poet. Shout out to, again, Majestic and Concept. Our episode is coming soon. Xavier, get me the beats. We're trying to get this thing popping, Everybody in the DMV, enjoy the weather. Shout out to the class of class 2003 at Parkdale High School. We're going to be partying up for high school reunion. So let's go. Everybody have a great day. Love you and love yourselves.
Me and my Isis became the glory. I never thought I would find it this early. We was past lives deep. She was made for me. Her skin lightly touched by the sun above. Red hair top to bottom, the color of love. I remember the first day I saw her unique face. I never would have thought I would score a first date. Kept a cool head, stepped to a smooth. Said, you bout to bounce? Can I roll with you? She said, not tonight, but you're kinda cute. Here's my number, give me a call. I'ma see what I can do. I was pressed, so I called her that Saturday morning. I drove across states cause I knew she was worthy. Conversation incredible, no kiss that's marginal. Chick had my mind and heart, she was phenomenal. The beauty of your smile, the beauty of you. The beauty of your smile, the beauty of you. The beauty of your smile, the beauty of you. The beauty of your smile, the beauty of you. The beauty of your smile, the beauty of you. The beauty of your smile, the beauty of you. It's how we do, me and you, changing the world, doing whatever it takes. At the end, you're my girl, one and only. Love is taking control of me, and I dream of a day you'll be birthing a son for me. I care less about the mess people trying to cause. Don't stress, we're the best, even with our flaws. Every day I'm your Adam.